In the rugged expanse of the Old West, where judgments were swift and appearances often deceived, a young woman found herself caught in a story far greater than she could have imagined. She saw him first as nothing more than a dirty native servant, an unseen figure relegated to the margins of her world, invisible beneath the dust and shadows of a time defined by division. Yet, beneath that unassuming exterior lay a spirit and wisdom that would soon shatter every preconceived notion, rewriting the destiny not just of one man, but of 12 tribes bound by history, culture, and an unbreakable bond. The harshness of the frontier masked countless stories of resilience and hidden greatness, and his was among the most profound. As the woman's world shifted with each passing day, she began to glimpse the depth of his character, a strength forged in the fires of tradition and survival, a vision that transcended the boundaries imposed by others. What started as simple servitude became a journey of transformation, challenging the harshest biases and illuminating the power of leadership born from humility and honor. In a land where power was often measured by violence and wealth, the rise of this man to chief of 12 tribes was nothing short of extraordinary. It was a testament to a leadership that embraced wisdom over force, unity over division, and respect over prejudice. His story unfolds like a tapestry woven with courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to his people, a narrative that defies the harsh stereotypes of his time and invites us to see beyond the surface. This tale is not just about a man's ascent to power, but about the breaking of barriers and the reclamation of dignity in a world eager to deny it. It reveals the transformative impact of recognizing the humanity in those we overlook and challenges us to question the judgments we carry. It is a story of unexpected strength and the quiet, profound ways that true leadership emerges. Join us as we delve into this remarkable chapter of the Old West, where a servant's shadow gave way to a chief's crown and a young woman's assumptions were forever changed. This is a story of honor, identity, and the enduring spirit of a people whose legacy continues to inspire and challenge us today. The sun rose over the endless plains of the Old West, casting long shadows that stretched across the rugged landscape and whispered tales of survival and hidden truths. Among these tales was the story of a young woman, a settler raised with the beliefs and prejudices common to her time, who saw the world through the narrow lens of status and race. To her, he was nothing more than a dirty native servant, an invisible figure, relegated to the margins of her privileged existence. Yet beneath his worn clothes and quiet demeanor lay the spirit of a leader, a man whose strength and wisdom were as vast and enduring as the land itself. The native man's days were filled with labor and obedience, his presence barely acknowledged beyond the tasks he performed. But within him burned a fire of resilience, a connection to a deep heritage passed down through generations of his people. The woman's eyes, clouded by assumption, failed to see the stories etched in his scars or the dignity in his quiet pride. This blindness was not born of cruelty, but of a society that demanded conformity to rigid roles, where power was wielded through dominance and identity was a cage. Yet, as the days turned into months, the cracks in her perception began to form. Small moments, a gesture of kindness, a word of wisdom, a calm in the face of turmoil, pierced the veil of prejudice. The man's quiet strength was impossible to ignore, and slowly, the woman found herself drawn into the depth of his world, a world rich with tradition, honor, and a fierce commitment to his people's survival. The lines between servant and leader blurred as she came to understand the true measure of a man's worth. In a land where violence and ambition often overshadowed empathy, his rise to chief was both extraordinary and inevitable. He embodied leadership that valued unity, respect, and the preservation of culture over conquest. His crowning as chief of 12 tribes was not merely a title, but a recognition of his unwavering dedication and the trust he had earned through courage and integrity. This transformation challenged not only the woman's views, but the entire community's understanding of power and respect. Their intertwined story is a powerful reminder that true leadership often emerges from places least expected, and that the greatest strength lies in humility and honor. It calls us to look beyond surface judgments and to recognize the humanity that connects us all, no matter our origins. Join us as we journey through this compelling narrative of transformation, identity, and the enduring spirit of the Old West. The native man's journey from servant to chief was marked by trials that tested both his resolve and the fabric of the 12 tribes he was destined to lead. He faced skepticism not only from outsiders, but from within his own people, those wary of change and protective of traditions. Yet, his leadership was defined by an ability to listen, to heal old wounds, and to forge alliances that transcended long-standing rivalries. His vision was not one of domination, but of unity, understanding that the strength of the tribes lay in their cohesion and shared purpose. The woman, once blinded by prejudice, became a reluctant witness to his growing influence. She observed as he mediated disputes, negotiated peace, and inspired hope in a people weary of conflict and survival. Each act of wisdom chipped away at her assumptions, forcing her to confront the biases ingrained by years of cultural separation and fear. Through her evolving perspective, we see the transformative power of empathy and the capacity for change when we open ourselves to the truth beyond appearances. Outsiders to the tribes, settlers, traders, and officials, watched with a mix of suspicion and awe as the man's authority solidified. His leadership disrupted the established order, challenging those who sought to control or exploit the native peoples. His insistence on dignity and respect echoed as a call for justice, forcing the wider community to reckon with their own prejudices and the consequences of their actions. This clash of worlds highlighted the complexities of power, identity, and survival in a land fraught with tension. Within the tribes, the man's leadership brought a renewed sense of purpose and pride. He revitalized traditions while adapting to the changing landscape, guiding his people through the turbulent times of the frontier. His ability to unite the 12 tribes under a common banner was a testament to his vision and character. Together, they navigated threats from external forces and internal divisions, emerging stronger and more united than ever before. This chapter of the story reveals the profound impact of leadership grounded in respect, wisdom, and inclusivity. It challenges us to reconsider our own judgments and to recognize the power of those who lead not by fear, but by example and compassion. Their journey is a timeless lesson from the Old West, teaching us about the enduring strength found in unity and the courage to rise beyond limitations. As the seasons shifted across the vast frontier, the man's leadership deepened, not just through his actions, but through the unwavering respect he cultivated among the 12 tribes. His approach was radical for the time. He ruled not with fear or force, but with humility, listening closely to the elders, the warriors, and the young. He understood that true power was found in the strength of a community bound by trust and shared destiny. This vision was a beacon of hope for a people fractured by conflict and survival, promising a future where unity could overcome centuries of division. The woman, who once saw him merely as a servant, found her world turned upside down as she witnessed the transformation firsthand. Each day brought new revelations of his wisdom and compassion. She saw how his quiet demeanor masked a fiery determination to protect his people's heritage against the encroaching tides of change and injustice. Her own prejudices melted away, replaced by awe and respect for a man who navigated the complexities of leadership with grace and steadfast resolve. This journey reshaped not only her perceptions, but her very understanding of identity and humanity. The tribes, guided by a steady hand, began to flourish in ways they had not for decades. He championed education and dialogue, encouraging younger generations to embrace their culture while engaging with the changing world around them. He brokered peace treaties and alliances that strengthened their position and ensured their survival. Under his guidance, the tribes found not only security, but a renewed sense of pride and purpose. His leadership was a bridge between past traditions and future possibilities, a delicate balance that few could have achieved. Outside the tribal lands, the man's influence stirred unease among settlers and government officials who saw his rise as a threat to their control. Tensions simmered as they sought to undermine his authority through manipulation and force. Yet, his resilience and the loyalty of his people stood as a formidable barrier against these challenges. His story became a powerful symbol of indigenous resistance and the fight for sovereignty in a landscape fraught with conflict. This part of the journey reveals the true nature of leadership, one that requires courage, empathy, and a vision far beyond personal gain. It challenges us to see beyond prejudice and recognize the leaders who rise not by domination, but by lifting others. Their story is a timeless reminder of the strength found in unity and the power of hope against all odds. The man's crowning as chief of 12 tribes was not merely a ceremony. It was the culmination of years of struggle, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication. It marked a turning point not only for him, but for an entire people whose voices had been marginalized and silenced. The ceremony was steeped in tradition, a powerful blend of ritual and celebration that honored the past while embracing the promise of a united future. As the symbolic crown was placed upon his head, it carried the weight of history, responsibility, and the hopes of generations. The woman, once blinded by her assumptions, stood as a witness to this profound transformation. Her journey mirrored the evolving story of the tribes, moving from ignorance to understanding, from judgment to respect. She saw how the man who had been dismissed as a mere servant was now a leader embodying the resilience and dignity of his people. Her changed perspective offered a powerful commentary on the dangers of prejudice and the possibility of redemption through empathy and knowledge. With his new title, the chief faced the immense challenges of leadership in a world still hostile to indigenous rights and sovereignty. He balanced the preservation of cultural identity with the practical needs of negotiating with settlers and governments. His diplomatic skill and unwavering commitment earned him respect on both sides of the divide, though the road was never easy. Every decision carried consequences for his people, and he bore the weight of those choices with quiet strength. The unity he forged among the 12 tribes was more than political. It was spiritual, cultural, and deeply personal. He revived ceremonies, protected sacred lands, and fostered a sense of shared identity that transcended tribal boundaries. Under his leadership, the tribes found a renewed voice and strength, becoming a force to be reckoned with in a rapidly changing frontier. His reign was a testament to the power of hope, resilience, and vision. This chapter of the story challenges us to recognize true leadership as an act of service, humility, and courage. It teaches that breaking barriers requires not only strength, but compassion and a deep connection to the people one serves. Their journey continues to inspire, reminding us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit can triumph. The chief's leadership brought a new era to the 12 tribes, one marked by hope, resilience, and the careful balance between honoring tradition and embracing necessary change. He understood that preserving the heritage of his people required not only safeguarding customs, but also navigating the complexities of a rapidly shifting world. His days were filled with councils and ceremonies, negotiations with settlers, and tireless efforts to protect sacred lands. Through it all, he remained a humble servant to his people, guided by wisdom passed down through generations and a fierce determination to secure their future. The woman who once underestimated him watched as he carried the weight of responsibility with grace and unwavering strength. Her journey alongside his revealed lessons far beyond what she had ever imagined. Lessons of humility, perseverance, and the true meaning of honor. She came to understand that leadership was not about status or power, but about service and sacrifice. Her transformation was a testament to the profound impact that openness and empathy can have in breaking down barriers and fostering understanding. Despite the challenges, the chief's vision began to bear fruit. The tribes grew stronger and more unified, their voices gaining respect in broader conversations about land rights and sovereignty. He cultivated young leaders, ensuring that the legacy of resilience and wisdom would continue for generations. His influence extended beyond political arenas. He rekindled cultural pride, encouraging education and community growth that nurtured both body and spirit. However, the path was never without conflict. Outside forces, government agents, settlers, and those who saw the tribes as obstacles, continued to press against the newfound unity. The chief faced constant threats to his people's way of life, from broken treaties to encroaching settlements. Yet, he met every challenge with the same quiet resolve that had earned him his crown. His leadership became a beacon of hope, inspiring not only his people, but all who yearned for justice and dignity. This chapter in their story shows the enduring strength of true leadership, rooted in compassion, guided by wisdom, and fueled by an unwavering commitment to the greater good. It reminds us that even in the face of relentless adversity, the spirit of a people can rise, reclaiming their place with courage and grace. As seasons changed and years passed, the chief's influence grew, reaching beyond the boundaries of his people to touch the broader fabric of the Old West. His story became a symbol of resilience and unity, told in whispers around campfires and echoed in the halls of power. Through diplomacy and courage, he forged alliances that transcended cultural divides, opening pathways for dialogue and mutual respect where there had once been only suspicion and hostility. The woman who had once viewed him through the lens of prejudice now stood as a steadfast ally, sharing his vision and advocating for understanding. Their relationship evolved into a partnership of equals, bound by the transformative journey they had traveled together. Her change of heart reflected the broader shifts occurring in society, a slow but powerful movement toward recognizing the humanity and rights of indigenous peoples. Together, they worked to bridge gaps, heal wounds, and create a foundation for lasting peace. The chief's commitment to education, culture, and justice inspired a new generation. He established schools that honored native traditions alongside new knowledge, ensuring that his people could navigate the complexities of a changing world without losing their identity. His leadership cultivated pride and confidence, empowering the tribes to stand tall and assert their rightful place in history. The legacy he built was not just political, but deeply spiritual, rooted in a vision of unity and respect. Challenges remained, threats to land, culture, and autonomy persisted, but the chief's unwavering spirit and the solidarity he fostered provided a shield against despair. His story became a beacon, illuminating a path forward for all who believed in justice and dignity. It was a testament to the enduring power of courage, compassion, and the belief that true leadership serves the people above all else. This part of their journey teaches us that transformation is possible when we open our hearts and minds to change. It calls us to honor the strength of those who lead with humility and to recognize that even the most deeply rooted prejudices can be overcome by empathy and understanding. The years that followed saw the chief become not only a political leader, but a spiritual beacon for his people and beyond. His leadership transcended mere governance. It was a call to heal wounds that ran deep through generations. He revitalized sacred ceremonies and traditions that had been suppressed or forgotten, breathing life back into the cultural identity of the 12 tribes. These acts of cultural restoration were acts of defiance and resilience, asserting that no matter how fierce the storm of colonization and prejudice, the spirit of a people could not be extinguished. The woman who had once misjudged him became one of his closest confidants, her journey mirroring the profound transformations unfolding around them. She bore witness to his tireless efforts to unite disparate tribes, to heal fractured communities, and to foster a collective vision that honored both heritage and progress. Her eyes, once clouded by bias, now shone with respect and admiration, a testament to the power of openness and the humbling force of truth. Their evolving relationship illustrated the possibility of reconciliation and growth when individuals dare to challenge their assumptions. Externally, the chief's influence grew as he navigated the complex and often hostile political landscape of the Old West. He engaged with government officials and settlers, not with submission, but with the strength of a leader who knew his people's worth. His eloquence and wisdom forced many to reconsider long-held prejudices, opening dialogues where there had been silence, and planting seeds of change in even the most hardened hearts. His reputation as a peacemaker and visionary extended beyond tribal lands, marking him as a figure of enduring legacy. However, the path was fraught with peril. The old forces of division and greed were relentless, seeking to undermine his authority through deception, violence, and broken promises. Yet, the chief stood firm, buoyed by the unwavering support of his people and the bonds forged in shared struggle. His resilience became legendary, inspiring others to stand up against injustice and to believe in the power of unity. Through storms literal and metaphorical, he remained a steadfast guardian of his people's future. This chapter reveals the extraordinary strength that comes from leadership grounded in love, respect, and an unshakable commitment to justice. It reminds us that true power lies not in domination, but in the courage to uplift others, to protect what is sacred, and to forge paths toward healing and unity. As the twilight of his life approached, the chief's legacy was firmly etched into the landscape and hearts of the 12 tribes. His vision of unity and cultural renaissance had blossomed into a vibrant reality, a community that stood resilient in the face of continuing challenges. The traditions he restored flourished, weaving together old wisdom and new hope into a tapestry that honored the past while embracing the future. His crowning moment as chief was only the beginning of a lifelong mission to elevate his people's dignity and rights in a world that had long tried to suppress them. The woman who once saw him as merely a servant now shared his story far and wide, becoming an advocate for understanding and respect. Her transformation was a powerful symbol of change, a bridge between worlds once separated by ignorance and fear. Together, their narratives intertwined, offering a compelling message about the power of empathy to dismantle prejudice and open hearts. Their alliance demonstrated that true change begins with acknowledging shared humanity and choosing connection over division. Beyond the tribes, the chief's impact resonated through wider society. His diplomatic efforts paved the way for greater recognition of indigenous sovereignty and rights, planting seeds that would influence generations to come. Though obstacles remained, his leadership offered a blueprint for coexistence and mutual respect, challenging the narrative of conflict that had long defined the frontier. His life's work became a testament to the enduring possibility of justice and reconciliation. In quiet moments, beneath the vast expanse of the western sky, those who knew him reflected on a man who had risen from the margins to become a pillar of strength and hope. His journey was one of perseverance, humility, and profound love, a reminder that true leadership is measured not by titles, but by the positive change one inspires. His legacy continues to teach us about the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of unity. This final chapter calls us to carry forward his example, to embrace courage, compassion, and respect in our own lives, and to recognize that even the most unlikely leaders can shape history in profound and lasting ways. As the chief's influence grew, so too did the sense of identity and pride within the 12 tribes. Under his guidance, the people reclaimed not only their lands but their stories, languages, and customs that had been threatened by years of displacement and oppression. His leadership was more than political. It was cultural revival. Ceremonies that once echoed faintly in the hearts of his people now resonated loudly across the plains, bringing renewed spirit and unity. The tribes, once fragmented and vulnerable, stood stronger and more cohesive, a testament to the chief's vision and relentless dedication. The woman who had once dismissed him as merely a servant witnessed this transformation with a mixture of humility and admiration. Her journey, from ignorance to understanding, became intertwined with the chief's legacy. She dedicated herself to sharing the truth of his story, challenging the myths and prejudices that had clouded perceptions for generations. Through her voice, the narrative of the chief and his people reached new audiences, inspiring empathy and respect in places far beyond the frontier's rugged borders. The challenges, however, persisted. External pressures, from government policies to settler encroachment, continued to threaten the tribe's hard-won autonomy. Yet, the unity forged under the chief's leadership created a resilient shield against these forces. His people's strength lay not just in arms or numbers, but in the shared belief that their culture and rights were worth defending at all costs. His legacy was a beacon, encouraging future generations to stand proud and fight for justice with wisdom and courage. In intimate moments of reflection, the chief and his closest allies contemplated the road traveled, a path marked by sacrifice and triumph, pain and hope. They understood that the journey toward equality and respect was ongoing, but their achievements had planted the seeds for a brighter future. Their story became a powerful reminder that change is possible, even when faced with daunting odds. This part of their story teaches us about resilience and the power of cultural identity in the face of adversity. It challenges us to honor the struggles of those who came before and to continue the work of building a more just and inclusive world. In the final chapter of this remarkable journey, the chief's crowning legacy was not merely the title he bore, but the enduring spirit he instilled in his people and the broader world. His life's work had transformed 12 tribes into a united force, strong, proud, and ready to face the future with dignity. The land itself seemed to hold the echoes of their unity, whispering tales of resilience and hope carried on the wind. His leadership became a touchstone, inspiring countless others to rise above prejudice and division. The woman who had once judged him by his appearance stood alongside him in honoring this legacy, her transformation a powerful testament to the possibility of change through understanding. Together, their stories challenged the narrow perspectives that had long defined relations between cultures. They embodied a shared humanity, proving that respect and empathy are the true foundations of leadership and progress. Their story spread far and wide, becoming a symbol of the triumph of humility, wisdom, and courage. It served as a beacon for those still fighting for recognition and justice, a reminder that even in the harshest environments, the human spirit can prevail. The chief's rise from servant to leader was more than history. It was a call to all of us to confront our biases and to celebrate the strength found in unity and honor. As the sun set over the western horizon, casting golden light across the plains, the legacy of the chief and the woman who came to see him clearly remained alive in the hearts of the tribes, the land they cherished, and the stories passed down through generations. Their journey stands as a timeless reminder that true greatness is not measured by status or appearance, but by the courage to lead with compassion and the strength to unite a people. This final chapter invites us all to reflect on our own perceptions and to embrace the transformative power of empathy, respect, and unity. Their story is a beacon guiding us toward a more just and connected future. As we bring this incredible story to a close, we are reminded that true leadership is often born not from privilege or appearance, but from courage, humility, and unwavering commitment to one's people. The man once seen as a mere servant rose to become the chief of 12 tribes, shattering every preconceived notion about identity and power. His journey challenges us to look beyond the surface and recognize the strength that lies in honor, wisdom, and unity. This tale is a testament to the transformative power of empathy and understanding. The woman who first misjudged him represents the biases we all carry, barriers that can only be broken down through openness and compassion. Their intertwined journeys teach us that growth often comes from confronting our own assumptions and embracing the humanity in others. It is a powerful reminder that change begins with the willingness to see the world through a different lens. Reflecting on their story encourages us to consider how we judge those around us and how we might lift others by recognizing their true worth. In a world that often prioritizes division, this narrative inspires hope for a future where respect and dignity transcend race, status, and history. The legacy of this chief and the woman who learned to see him clearly invites us all to be leaders in our own right, champions of justice, unity, and love. If this story moved you, we invite you to join our growing community by subscribing to the channel. Like this video if it inspired you, and share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Your voice helps keep these powerful stories alive and fosters a space where empathy and courage can grow, inspiring others to act with kindness and understanding. Thank you for being part of this journey. May the story of the servant turned chief inspire you to look beyond appearances, stand firmly for justice, and lead with compassion every day.